All right, so I wanted to let you guys know about a situation that happened on a flight on Sunday when I was in Delta and I was in Delta first class. And this has to do with my scleroderma. So, what happened is I was seated in first class behind the first row, and this is my first time in first class, first time in Delta, and I ended up checking out the screen and seeing all the options I could use. And the person who was a woman in the front turned around once, turned back, and then turned around again and told me that I was rocking her chair with my finger moving on the screen. So I guess my finger taps. So I tried to do it slower, or at least in a better fashion, so it wouldn't be an issue. I was kind of surprised. Well, a little while later, and this is while we were in the air, she rockets back her chair. She aggressively moves it back, turns around, and basically tells me I'm doing the same thing again. So I asked, do you want me to call flight attendant over? And she said yes. So I do. And I tell the flight attendant at this point that she just rocketed her chair back at me aggressively. She's saying that I am pushing on the screen too hard, and she can feel it rock her chair. Rock her chair. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. And at this point, I believe I tell her I have scleroderma. I'm not sure what to do. My hands are up. I'm like, what do you want me to do? And she stands there and directs me to how to try and move my fingers across the screen. And I try to do that, and it's starting to work a little bit. So she leaves, and I continue. And I'm trying hard to not rock her chair or do anything that might bother her. Now, if you've been in these seats, these are very thick seats. They're big. There's no way this woman could feel my fingers in her seat from the screen. That doesn't stop, because there's a third time where apparently there's a group of three that are sitting, but it's a guy from across the row. He's in the first class, first row section. Apparently he looks at the woman and he's asking her something like, I guess if I'm still bothering her. So apparently she agrees affirmatively. I didn't hear the entire conversation. So he waves with the flight attendant and tells him that I'm still doing the same thing, that I'm bothering her. So at this point, I'm playing a game. And she comes over, tells me to stop. No, I'm sorry, not telling me to stop, but she tells me to watch a movie. She asked me to watch a movie. So I had to end my game and pick a movie. So I decided to watch 65, and I didn't feel it was very good. It's kind of violent, but I was concerned about moving my finger again, yet, lest I get another complaint. So at this point, this is the entire thing with the scleroderma issue, so I'll just cover that. The the flight ends up ending. I turn my back, so I'm not dealing with these people. I'm not going to interact with them at all. I'm not going to risk anything, because in my mind, I'm being bullied. There's no way that you can actually feel my finger across the screen. When you have scleroderma, you have muscle weakness, and that includes in the hands. My hands at this point are clawed. Okay? There's no way that I could have ever had a shot at rocking her chair for my finger taps on the screen. But I decided I'm just going to deal with it with a Delta. So I end up getting my bags. I wait for them to disembark, and I continue out to the floor. And I speak to 3 people, 2 people at a Delta desk, and apparently I'm told that I should not have been asked to stop my game. They can't tell you what to do on there. I meet with someone called a COR, and you need to be aware of this if there's ever anything that happens with a disability. Every person, every flight company, every like Delta, whatever, needs to have someone called a COR. That's a complaint resolution officer. So I forgot what it's called, but if you look on the Delta site, It takes a little while to search, but you'll end up finding information about a CRO. I think it's a CRO, Complete Resolution Officer, where they need to take care of a complaint regarding a disability on the floor there. It has to be resolved there. So I go and talk to someone, it's a male, and I tell him my story, and I know he's typing stuff down. He asked me, did I tell the flight attendant I had scleroderma? And I said, yes, I did. And I tell him, my hands are crooked. You could see them. I tell him that there's no way this woman who was complaining about me 3 times felt my hands through that seat. There's no way. I was trying to be as gentle as I could, and I got told to stop my game because I needed to watch a movie, apparently. So he writes down everything and then tells me that I need to make a complaint on the Delta website. He gives me a shortened copy of what happened. It's very short compared to what we were discussing. So that's what I have right now. And you also need to be aware that if you feel that they are not resolving everything to your liking, or you feel it isn't a good situation once they've resolved, because apparently when it comes to disability, they actually had to, the flight company has to give you a response within 30 days. You can actually go and complain to the Department of Transportation. They do have a site for that. You can do a general complaint, and then there's one that's a form that you mail in where it's a complaint regarding disability, if you felt you were discriminated against on a flight due to a disability. So right now I'm waiting to see how Delta is going to handle this. They have now about 29 days to respond to my requests and see what happens.